have to, part 1. As we know, I have in Spanish is tengo. And we can use this to extend into I have to or I must. To do this, we take tengo and we simply add on que. So the phrase becomes tengo que. Now, the really nice thing about this is that we can add on practically any verb to this and create a lot of different sentences. For example, what's the verb to do? Hacer. And how do you say to do it? Hacerlo. Now, if we wanted to say, I have to do it, this would become tengo que hacerlo. So the tengo que stands for I have to, and then we simply add on the verb. To do it, hacerlo. Tengo que hacerlo. I have to do it. Let's try with another verb. What is to find? Encontrar. And how do you say to find it? Encontrarlo. Now we want to say, I have to find it. Tengo que encontrarlo. You can see the same formula working. First of all, we have tengo que, and then we simply added on the verb to the end of it. Let's try one more. What's the verb to see? Ver. And how would you say to see you? Verte. Now say, I have to see you. Tengo que verte. We can apply this exact same process for the angle of he, she, or it. So, first of all, what is he has, she has, or it has in Spanish? Tiene. Now, for example, if we wanted to express he has to, we would take tiene and once again add on que. So the phrase becomes tiene que. He has to, she has to, or it has to is all tiene que. How would you say he has to do it? Tiene que hacerlo. She has to find it. Tiene que encontrarlo. He has to see it. Tiene que verlo. What about he has to do it for me tonight? Tiene que hacerlo para mí esta noche. If I have to is tengo que, how would you say I don't have to? No tengo que. I don't have to do it. No tengo que hacerlo. What about she doesn't have to do it? No tiene que hacerlo. Hopefully that one didn't catch you out. So, just as with I have to, the same thing applies to he, she, or it. If we remove the no, we have tiene que hacerlo. He has to do it, she has to do it, it has to do it. But no tiene que hacerlo. He doesn't have to do it, she doesn't have to do it, or even it doesn't have to do it. Try this next one. It's a bit longer. He doesn't have to do it for me because it's not very important. No tiene que hacerlo para mí, porque no es muy importante. What is you have in Spanish? Tienes. Now, how would you say you have to? Tienes que. Once again, we're just taking the you have, tienes, and adding on the que, tienes que, you have to. How would you say you have to do it? Tienes que hacerlo. You don't have to do it. No tienes que hacerlo. You don't have to do it. It's not important. No tienes que hacerlo. No es importante. How would you say you must find it for me? Remember that you have to or you must is the same in Spanish. Give it a try. Tienes que encontrarlo para mí. You must do it today. Tienes que hacerlo hoy. So, as you can see, it doesn't matter if you're saying you must find it or you have to find it. You must do it or you have to do it. In Spanish, it's the same. Tienes que encontrarlo. Tienes que hacerlo. So here we have our three have tos. Tengo que for I have to. Tiene que for he, she, or it has to. And tienes que for you have to. They all work in the same way, simply by adding on verbs to the end of them to create sentences. Let's do a little more practice. How would you say, I have to see it? Tengo que verlo. I have to find it. Tengo que encontrarlo. He has to find it for me. Tiene que encontrarlo para mí. She has to do it tonight. Tiene que hacerlo esta noche. What's the verb to say or to tell? Decir. And how would you say to tell me? Decirme. Now say, you have to tell me. Tienes que decirme. You don't have to tell me. No tienes que decirme. The word for late in Spanish is tarde. If we want to say later, what you literally say is more late, which would be más tarde. How would you say you have to tell me later? Tienes que decirme más tarde. What about he has to find it because I can't do it myself? Tiene que encontrarlo porque no puedo hacerlo yo mismo or yo misma. How would you say, I have to see her later? Tengo que verla más tarde. Do you remember the verb to have? So this is the full verb, the infinitive, to have. Tener. And how would you say to have it? Tenerlo. Now say, I have to have it. Tengo que tenerlo. I'm sorry, but I have to have it tonight. It's urgent. Lo siento, pero tengo que tenerlo esta noche. Es urgente. If we take the verb decir and we want to express to tell him or to tell her, as we discussed in a previous module, we use the pronoun of le. So to tell him or to tell her becomes decirle. How would you say, you have to tell him tonight? Tienes que decirle esta noche. You have to tell her tomorrow. Tienes que decirle mañana. Let's try one more. I wonder if you can remember how you would say you have to tell them. Tienes que decirles. So to tell him or to tell her is decirle. But when it becomes plural to tell them, then the pronoun goes to les. Tienes que decirles. How do you say you can? Puedes. You can't. No puedes. You have to tell them that you can't do it tonight. Tienes que decirles que no puedes hacerlo esta noche. What about you have to tell them why you can't do it tonight? Tienes que decirles por qué no puedes hacerlo esta noche. The verb to buy in Spanish is comprar. How would you say to buy it? Comprarlo. Now say, I have to buy it today. Tengo que comprarlo hoy. She doesn't have to buy it for me. No tiene que comprarlo para mí. Of course, this could also mean he doesn't have to buy it for me. Either way. The word for when in Spanish is cuando. How would you ask? When does he have to do it? ¿Cuándo tiene que hacerlo? What about when do I have to do it? ¿Cuándo tengo que hacerlo? And one more. When do you have to do it? ¿Cuándo tienes que hacerlo? The word for soon in Spanish is pronto. How would you say, I have to do it soon? Tengo que hacerlo pronto. To express very soon, it would be muy pronto. Now say, he has to tell her very soon. Tiene que decirle muy pronto. What about she has to buy it later? Tiene que comprarlo más tarde. She has to buy it soon. Tiene que comprarlo pronto. The word for if in Spanish is si. How would you say, I want to know? Quiero saber. I want to know if he can do it for me later. Quiero saber si puede hacerlo para mí más tarde. Now, how would you say he has to do it later? Tiene que hacerlo más tarde. How would you ask? Does she have to buy it? Tiene que comprarlo. What's the word for the book? El libro. Now ask, do I have to buy the book? ¿Tengo que comprar el libro? Why do I have to buy the book? ¿Por qué tengo que comprar el libro? The word for how much in Spanish is cuánto. How do you say it is? Es. Now ask, how much is it? ¿Cuánto es? I want to see how much it is. Quiero ver cuánto es. The word for first is primero. Primero. How would you say, first, I have to see how much it is? Primero, tengo que ver cuánto es. The word for expensive in Spanish is caro. How would you say, it's expensive? Es caro. How would you say, it's not expensive? No es caro. The word for too much would be demasiado. Let's break down the syllables. De-ma-si-ado. Demasiado. How would you say it's too expensive? Es demasiado caro. Now let's try it in a sentence. I can't buy it because it's too expensive for me. No puedo comprarlo porque es demasiado caro para mí. Now say, you don't have to buy it now because it's too expensive. No tienes que comprarlo ahora porque es demasiado caro. As you can see, the further into Spanish we go, the more power it gives us to be able to build sentences. And this is what we're really practicing, putting together, or how to put together, how to construct sentences. Remember to repeat any module or lesson that you find tricky until you feel comfortable with it before moving forward. It's very important that we keep on building a solid foundation.